Check out the most recent newsletter from the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. Portofbrownsville.com is the website for that. Ed Campirano, the chief at our Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville, joining us. Let's start with all these conversations related to the USS Enterprise, that nuclear-powered enterprise that might be coming down here. And, of course, nuclear-powered. Boy, that's a lot of questions that pop up in my head. I'm sure in your head as well, Chief. So how's that supposed to work out if it comes down here to dismantle something that's so sensitive?
Well, first and foremost, let's be clear. These vessels have been defueled. They're not active vessels. They've been sitting in storage for quite some time, so we're not talking about a vessel that's going to show up in the cover of darkness glowing in the middle of the night. I mean, this is a vessel that pretty much has been defueled.
Okay.
There is some low-level residual that will have to be removed, but, that's removed according to very strict protocols, and
okay.
It goes to a dump site that is for this. I mean, the rest of it is pretty much a conventional operation. So, the Navy first came to us in 2019 to discuss this. It went through it, held a town hall meeting here in the community. It met with community leaders, explained, what the program would be. At that time, they were contemplating alternatives, whether or not to put it out for, let's just say what they've decided to go ahead and put it out for commercial spelling, or whether the Navy would do it. And then they said they were going to be preparing an environmental impact statement. And, of course, if they were considering Brownsville, it was going to be included. Well, last year they came back after the draft was completed. They concluded that it made sense to put it out for commercial dismantling, if you will, and the Port of Brownsville is, to no surprise, is considered one of three potential destinations. The other is Mobile, Alabama, and Hampton Roads, Virginia. There is a very good opportunity and for the port. We have a long history with the Navy, especially on the aircraft carrier program. We've successfully taken on 6 of those vessels here, and the 7th is coming here before the end of the year. So, we've had a long relationship with the Navy. We have the expertise. We bill ourselves as the premier ship recycling facility in the country, and this has a significant impact in terms of the number of jobs it would have. And then also, this would be the first potentially of the next program for the Navy as it relates to its nuclear fleet. That would be the Nimitz class. So we're looking see what will occur, what the final decision will be. But certainly Brownsville has a very good opportunity to sustain not only the industry that we currently have here, but obviously to add to it over the next really many, many years. So this is a big deal.
Sure. When do we find out then? If we get this project?
It's supposed to be sometime before the end of the year, as I understand it. So I know there's a lot of work being done. There's a lot of parties coming together on this project as it relates to the various components. The Navy, we like the Navy. Obviously, when they bring a vessel to the Port of Brownsville, they retain a presence in the port throughout the duration of the project. So, they're involved, making sure that, everything gets done right. Not that we don't have the capability and the expertise to do it, but nonetheless, we're hoping before the end of the year we'll hear a final decision on the Enterprise.
When one of those big ships comes down here to be dismantled, how many jobs does that create, Chief? Más o menos.
It could be anywhere from 200 to 300 just to work on this vessel. In addition to what the yard has in place. It's essentially what happens with a Navy project. You have a yard within a yard. Those that are going to work on a Navy project have to be vetted and cleared by the Navy. And so you may have, the shipyard may have 400 employees, and say 200 will be working on the Navy project, and the other 2 can't even approach it. So it's a significant deal. Now, I'll tell you what, this would be the largest vessel ever to enter the port of Brownsville.
That would be beautiful to see, yeah.
This would be pretty awesome to watch it coming through the jetties.
I hope we get it, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, Ed Campirano is our chief over at the Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville. Look for their newsletter, monthly newsletter, portofbrownsville.com. We're talking about some of the topics that are being brought up. Of course, the big news of late was the 118-acre business park for our port. Now, is that in reaction to the phone ringing and businesses wanting to set up shop to complement steel and everything else, or are we prospecting with this park?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, if you really look at the kinds of requests that people are sending out, we see a lot of requests coming out of the governor's office for companies wanting to expand or relocate or establish business in Texas. And many of them are looking for infrastructure that's already in the ground. So essentially what we're trying to do, in effect, is to go ahead and create the structure that the infrastructure is in the ground. Company could respond, whether it's, and we have interest by current tenants at the port. So this is not just, focusing on, what is outside our business area. This is also focusing on allowing our continued industrial base here, continued customer base, to create opportunities for having them expand, whether it's warehousing opportunities, whether it's other opportunities for the need to be able to utilize, water transportation, rail transportation, of course, road transportation, or whether it's small-scale industrial or manufacturing, you name it. We want to have the essentially the infrastructure in place, give developers a heads up on not only the capabilities, but also assist in some of the infrastructure upfront costing that would occur for somebody coming in and doing a complete greenfield. So, we're excited about this opportunity, there's a lot of interest. So we want to try to take advantage, and of course, you're going to get a lot more interest as LNG gets going, and those companies are going to need services and contractors in the area coming to the area. So we think this is a good opportunity and certainly good timing to do this.
I find it interesting you mentioned the governor's office and all the prospecting they're doing, and the selling of Texas, and we're setting up shop to allow more acreage and space in the event that we need something like that. But LNG would be the big driver for new industry and support services when they show up eventually, right? That would be filling up the business park first, do you think?
It's really on a first come, first serve. I mean, construction will be complete hopefully within a year, and it will be available. But it's not to say that we couldn't get interest now, and somebody could get on the ground floor and customize essentially what their needs would be. But we are proceeding. It's underway, and hopefully this will be another opportunity, another arrow in the quiver, if you will, to use as a tool to attract industry to the region.
Sure. And when you say it's going to be ready in a year, you're talking about all the pipe, sewer pipe, water pipe.
That's correct.
Light infrastructure, all the roads,
road access. Okay. Yes, water, wastewater, gas. All the necessary components. Sure. For a business to be able to succeed in our area.
Chief, I've got less than a minute left. Real quick, how many jobs would you say, if you were to peg a number, how many jobs are available at the port right now? All industries, steel, Keppel, windmill, everything.
We continue to hear there's continued demand for positions, whether, again, Keppel is continuing to do its ship rebuilding, and, we've seen some indications of offshore oil coming back. They've got a contract in port now for 20 months to work on an offshore semi-submersible. So, that obviously, and you continue to have the expansions that are going on. Forza is hopefully beginning to start scaling, starting in September with full operations in November. So, it's 150 jobs right there. We're still seeing that our existing businesses, the ship recyclers, are looking to hire. Yeah. So, there's a job market out here, and it continues to be active. Yes, sir. And, I think good opportunity.
Thank you for the update, Chief. Ed Campirano, Director, Rio Grande Valley Port of Brownsville.